community is really trying to ramp up efforts to get help West Africa in particular to contain Ebola. And right now, the UN has just sent their advance team into the region. They're setting up a special Ebola mission on Mir. We have a big meeting on Thursday here, all the world leaders coming to discuss under the Secretary General's auspices the crisis, trying to coordinate more aid, trying to help build more Ebola treatment centers, because this is really the big problem. There are not enough beds, so people are being turned away and then they go home and infect other family members and other community members. So definitely Ebola top of the agenda for everyone. And of course, the other issue is the militant group known as the Islamic State. Overnight, the United States and 5 Arab partners began targeted airstrikes in Syria. So this was already going to be a big issue on the agenda, but now I think it's really going to become, quite big. And we have a meeting Wednesday in the UN Security Council that President Obama will be chairing on the issue of foreign terrorist fighters, on the idea that, people leave their home countries and go to places like Syria and Iraq to fight, and then they get even more radicalized, and then they go back home to their home countries and cause problems there and perhaps perpetrate terrorist attacks in their own countries. So this will be an effort to galvanize the international community in the arena of the UN Security Council, and that will be led by President Obama tomorrow afternoon.
Well, thanks a lot, Margaret. Appreciate your thoughts on the various issues. Of course, we'll be relying on you for the rest of the week as leaders meet in their discussions. Margaret Bashir is the VOA's correspondent at the UN General Assembly. We'll take a break now. When we come back, a look at the situations here in Africa. We have an update on the Ebola virus disease in Liberia. Please join us again. Welcome back to The World Today. Let's turn our attention now to what's going on in Liberia, which has been described by the World Health Organization as the hardest hit of the Ebola virus disease. U.S. soldiers have arrived in the country to help fight against the disease, and Liberia's Minister of Information, Louis Brown, is hopeful this will be a turning point for the country. However, he says more help is needed to stop the epidemic, which has affected Liberia more than any nation in the Ebola zone. VOA's Benno Muchler spoke to Minister Brown in the capital, Monrovia.
It doesn't mean our country is falling apart, but the truth of the matter is if nothing is done, if we do not get the kind of support that we're beginning to see and hear of, and in a rather quick and flexible way, given the unprecedented spread of this virus, we may see that happening. And what we're trying to do is to work as best as we can to make sure, along with our international partners, that we never get to that point.
So you would see the U.S. involvement right now as a turning point?
We like to think so. We think that the assistance from the government of the United States is timely. We like to see more of such assistance from other governments of the world. We like to see more strategic partnership in assisting us. We have a plan that has been vetted, is a very good plan. We like to see international support line up behind that plan. And we like to continue our efforts toward prevention, community to community, door to door, getting our people to understand that prevention is still better than cure, deadly as this virus is. But again, we like to see more support for how we continue to provide for the livelihood of Liberians, because as this virus continues to attack lives, what is under increasing attack is the livelihood of people.
That was the interview with the Liberian Minister of Information, Louis Brown, with the VOA's Benno Muchler. Well, it's not all gloom on The World Today, though. More than 500 employees dressed in full Batman costumes outside the headquarters of oil and gas company Nexen to raise money for charity and break a world record in the process. The minimum requirement to set the new record was 250 Batman costume-wearing participants. Well, it seems to achieve that result because the costumes did have first been inspected by a Guinness World Record staffer who then authenticated the Nexen Batman-clad employees as standing in the same place for 5 minutes before pronouncing the group the
Employees of
official
oil and gas
world
company
record
Nexen
holders.
Made it happen. The costumes passed inspections by a Guinness World Record staffer who...
Well, imagine being allowed to wear a suit like that to work. The 181st October 1st began with the traditional grand entry of the Bear Tent landlords and representatives from different breweries. The festival is dubbed the world's largest, rowdiest, and most famous beer festival. Visitors from around the globe celebrated the start of the annual October 1st as organizers say they expect to have the over 6 million people attending consume around 7 million liters of beer. Well, you know the old saying, moderation is best. And that's it on The World today. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Barong Tony Ranta comes up next with the sports news.